Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC TV podcast from Fuzz TV. I am Peter, over here in the blue corner, and over there in the red corner is Connor.
Yes, I'm still in red for some reason.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna shake it up one day.
Well, do you want me to just invert the colours, just swap them?
Yeah, just when we hit a milestone episode, just like, we'll switch it up.
Nah. I might change yours to orange, but that's about it.
Ah, but that ruins your scheme, so...
Nah, because then you just sort of blend into the overlay.
Yeah,
it'll be like how with green screen, if you wear a green top, like you start getting the background on the thing. You'll just have orange.
yeah. Camouflage.
Yeah. So, yeah, we talk about DC TV shows. Now, this is a very weird week because we only had one new episode this week, and that was Legends of Tomorrow. Black Lightning took a week off. Only 1 week. It's back next week, I believe. But, yeah, so because of that, this week we are talking about Legends of Tomorrow, of course, the new episode, and then we're also talking about the next episode of Lois and Clark that we're on, the next episode of Smallville that we're on, and of course the next episode of Young Justice that we're on. And that is the plan this week. So it's kind of a weird episode in that there's only one new show. So obviously that's the headliner, and then everything else comes after. But hey, I should mention a little bit of news this week. We got a look at Brainiac in Krypton.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of footage, but mostly it was the photo that was being passed around, and it looks oddly high quality. I'm surprised.
It looks shockingly good and accurate.
Yeah, the show might still be complete garbage, but that Brainiac looks pretty good. Yeah,
someone in the design room at least is taking it seriously.
Yeah, the makeup person's done a good job. Yeah. So that's good plus. But that was the only real news thing to mention.
Yeah. Quiet time of year.
As I mean, even our weekly TV news podcast was really quiet this week. That typically ranges from 60 to 90 minutes long, and this week it was 30. So quieter time of year. But hey, without further ado, I think we'll get cracking into the shows. So obviously, Legends of Tomorrow, season 3, episode 11. It's called Here I Go Again. I don't think I could have predicted the relevance of that title. Now, as soon as it became clear this is going to be a time loop episode, I'm like, oh. And I'm like, oh wait, no, there's ABBA references as well. Okay. Very good. I see what they did there. Very good.
Yep. Yeah.
Very funny. I do think they cheaped out a little bit though, because I was expecting all episode to get like something later on with that song playing. With Waterloo, because they kept referencing it. I'm like, okay, the big heroic moment at the end is, you know how in that Supergirl episode where they talked about Bon Jovi, and then they used Bon Jovi in the big moment at the end. I was waiting for all episode, and it never happened. And I'm like, you cheap bastards.
Very cheap episode in general. All just on the ship.
It's all just on the ship. That said, this was head and shoulders above last week's. This was much better. I had a lot of fun with this.
Return to form.
Yes. This was a Zari-focused episode. She is the one in the time loop. The only thing that this episode suffers from is, and it's not really its own fault, is just the fact that I feel like I've had a lot of time loop things from everywhere else. Happy Death Day was just in October. Star Trek Discovery had a time loop episode just before Christmas. I feel like I've had a lot of them recently.
I watched that Netflix arc at the start of the year.
I saw that in 2016, so that's way past for me.
But for me, that was I watched that, and then I watched Happy Death Day like a month later.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that's really good, especially Star Trek Discovery, because it's very similar. They're on a ship, and the ship explodes at the end of every loop. Very, very similar episode in that sense. Whereas this one obviously does different things with it, and it's a chance to give Zari some focus. Her place in the team. Is she actually friends with these people? Is she just kind of hitching a ride? And obviously you kind of expect that by the end of the episode she's probably going to have bonded with everyone, and that's exactly kind of what happens. But there's some fun stuff along the way. There's some references, and we learn a few things about a few characters that I don't think we saw coming. Mick, for example, writing a science fiction romance novel.
Yep.
Which
I feel like romance is generous. It's more erotica, isn't it?
With his limited writing capacity, yes, this is just purely erotica. As Nate put it, I don't think the word bosom shows up this much in anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, by the way, was locked in a safe that was behind a bear trap. Just
so good.
For the record, that's where it was hidden. And they did the whole thing because basically when she tells Nate what's going on, oh, there's a time loop. I'm stuck on a time loop.
She's really out of it. She's up high on the sedative.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you mean like Groundhog Day? And he's like, what's Groundhog Day? I'm like, oh, she's like, in the future, so she maybe that movie's old by this point. She's not heard of it.
And it was a bit dystopian.
Yeah, true. He's like, oh, it's Groundhog Day. It's this Melbourne movie. And he explains it. And I wasn't prepared for her getting the joke wrong or getting the name wrong, because when she came in later on, she's like, hey, you told me to say this thing, you'd understand everything that I was trying to tell you. He's like, all right, hit me with it. Hedgehog Day. And I'm like, sorry.
I know. The way he's just like, what?
Hedgehog Day?
You mean Groundhog Day?
Oh, dear. Quality stuff. So this is a black episode. I think it did a lot of great things for Zari, who I've typically liked. I've typically liked her kind of her attitude.
She's been likable, but she hasn't had much depth.
Yeah, because she's not had much given to her. Whereas this episode kind of like gave her a bond with everyone and made her like care about everyone. And she's like, she understands Mick a little bit better. She's constantly fighting with Sarah, which obviously gives a lot more of the her and Ava flirting, down to the point where there's practically invitations to hang out, and Sarah awkwardly shrugs it off. People who hang out with me typically get dead, and all the rest of it. And she gets help from various people to like try and solve the problem. Ray the shrink down at one point, and that's a bit of funniness. So everyone, and honestly, my only real complaint from a plot perspective is the idea that they expect that one of them is the culprit who's planted a bomb. For no
to be fair, they don't think it's intentional though. They think it's they go, oh, someone's done something wrong. They don't think one of them's made a bomb and gone, oh, I'm going to sabotage it.
Because I kind of read it that way, and it was kind of like, why are you assuming someone's wanting to plant a bomb? Although, obviously, there's a Star Wars joke because it's someone in the trash compactor, right? But Gary being the one in the trash compactor was kind of funny. I'm not going to deny that.
It. I was like, yes, give me more of Gary being awful.
Yeah. What I did think was funny though is that how that thing in Groundhog Day where he gets piano lessons, but he's repeating the day. So by the time that he's finished the loop, he's actually really good at piano because he's been taking in his time. He's taken like 500 lessons or whatever it's been. They do that in this with her like learning to play the violin, but the time loop's only an hour. So like, all I could think was like, how many times has she done this hour?
Oh, she must have done it loads because we see her, when she does the montage.
Yeah, exactly. The montage, which again was very meta because actually two things in this episode that was very meta was Nate saying, do the fun montage where you get to practice and do all stupid things because no one's going to remember except you. We get that, and also when she says that she's in a time loop, he literally says, oh, we're about to do one of these eventually.
Yeah. And then as well after the montage, she comes in looking exhausted, and he's like, "Did you do the montage?"
Yeah.
It cracks me up.
But I'm just saying, because it's not even like she's getting lessons from someone. She's basically teaching herself how to play the violin.
Yeah, they just have a Stradivarius lying around for some reason.
Yeah.
But that time loop bit there, the montage goes on so long because she reads the Mick's book. She does.
What was it, like 1,000 pages or something like that?
Yeah. Like, she does loads with everyone.
Which, admittedly, is nothing compared to learning the violin, but still.
No, I can attest. That takes years. I mean, maybe if it was all I was doing and over and over, sure, it wouldn't take years, but...
Yeah.
A couple of 100 hours, usually,
to be fair, for all we know, she only learned that one piece. Which, you can fake learning to play an instrument if you just focus and memorise one piece.
You could. Some, reasonably advanced techniques that she's doing, though.
But the rest of the audience don't know
that. No.
You know how to play a violin, so you just recognise what she's doing. No one else does.
Yeah.
It's that because you can kind of tell when someone doesn't really play much guitar because they'll knock out maybe like a bit of smoke in the water.
Yeah, a couple of chords here or there.
Yeah, and then that'll be a bit. Behave. So no, I had a lot of fun. I like the scene because basically Zari at one point everyone's agreed that this is going on, and because who is it that smashes the device that Gary's got, and it turns out that it wasn't what was causing the explosion. It was I think
it was Mick.
Yeah, it's the time loop that he created the time loop, but because he smashed it, it's like, oh no, this time when it explodes, we're all dead. So we're going to have to figure this out. And they find about in the 8-track. the Waterloo 8-track. But anyway, I was really confused at the start of the episode because I wasn't sure right, obviously this was the joke, but I wasn't sure at first. Like, were they in the 70s doing an ABBA thing, or were they actually back in Waterloo? Because Mick's dressed is like Napoleon.
Yeah. I think Napoleon was in the 70s.
And that's what they were fixing. Okay.
Yeah, that was what
right. That was the joke, right? Because I was trying to piece together the plot of Lost at one point when they were just like, okay, so we got Waterloo in both perspectives. I must have missed like one line of dialogue at the start that kind of made it clear. But
no, I'm pretty sure that Napoleon was the aberration in the 70s, and they were being the band as their cover.
Right. Okay. All right. That makes some sense. Some sense, not a lot of sense, but some sense.
Yeah, yeah. I will say, Ray falling over never got old. It should have done, but it didn't. Every time, little smirk.
Yeah. So that was good fun. But like I said, the scene where Zarya actually takes the bomb, traps herself in the room, and she's going to like use her power to try and contain the blast, but it will kill her. And she like tells everyone, "Hey, Sarah, stop being scared. Ask Ava out. God damn it. Hey, Mick, your book's good. Follow your heart. Keep doing your thing." Well, I'll say good. But,
it's for Mick.
Yeah. Nate and Amaya, like, yeah, you had sex. Get over it. You're perfect for each other. Stop pretending you're not.
I love that they keep flashing themselves to forget.
Yeah, they've got the memory flasher, which Mick's been using it.
Mick used it to get the song out of his head.
Yeah. And then that gives Amaya the idea. It's like, let's flash ourselves, and then it's like, well, we may as well have sex first. If we're going to flash ourselves, we won't do
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that happens. So she pulls them up on it. And so you get all these things. She gets to bond. And as much as I like Firestorm, and I'm excited, obviously there's a tease at the end, Rip's escaped, and he's actually finding Wally, who's in like a monastery somewhere, meditating.
In China, yeah.
Doing... It's just so weird. Like, I love how, like, for Legends, we're going to use Wally. Can you write him out the Flash? Just say he goes on a trip somewhere, and they just sort of say, "Oh, he just leaves." So they didn't actually give him anything to do. So they just have him in.
Yeah.
He's meditating. He's finding his chi. I don't know, right? But and as much as I'm looking forward to having him, and I think he'll be fine. I think this episode worked better because we're missing a couple of characters. I feel like there was maybe too many before. And having two less actually is maybe benefiting the core group that we've got now.
I agree for episodes like this, where it's not so bad, where usually, okay, you focus on one person for an episode, and, they're the main focus. And here that's Zari, but, usually you want everyone to get a moment, or at least most of them. Here, everyone gets quite a bit of time, because there's less of them.
Yeah, and I think that's smart. I don't think they... Add Wally by all means, because I do think Wally should be doing something, but I feel like don't add any more unless you're going to take someone else away or kill someone off. I'd say keep it to this tighter number. I think it's a better idea.
I wouldn't mind if they kind of how this episode, like, clearly they'd gone on the mission, but Zari had stayed behind. If they do expand the ranks a little bit more, maybe kind of not define teams necessarily, but all right, you lot are going on the mission this episode. We'll follow you.
All right, okay, yeah, no, let's just stay in the ship, but maybe we get them next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that kind of working. But yeah, so I think that's working, and obviously, it all turns out to be. It was actually, I won't say exactly how, but it reminded me of a Black Mirror episode when it turned out all to be a simulation, and this was all just tested. Like, well, we found your loophole, so I showed you all the possible outcomes. Because we get Ada. Is it Ada?
Gideon,
thank you. What's Ada?
That's Shield.
That's Shield. Who's also is a robot. Like, so I'm not completely nuts here.
You're getting in the AI link. Let's see where you're going.
Yeah. Look, when they turn human form, they're both like similar looking brunettes. All right, what do you want from me? What do you want?
Sure.
But anyway, so Gideon, we see Gideon again, with the actress getting to actually do a bit of actual acting outside of the voice work. And he's like, yeah, well, I thought I'd show you all these things because every outcome from you having this fight with Sarah led to you leaving the team, and that was bad for the future. So I've made sure you realise that you belong here. And
yeah, that was it. Her loophole to save her brother. The only way that works is with the whole team and not just her.
Yeah. Sarah's justification is a bit weird for it. It's like, well, I guess it's actually not my past yet, it's my future, so therefore we can change it as much as we want.
It's straight up. She knows she's just calling bullshit on this. She's like, whatever. I don't give a
Which
shit.
I'm okay with, because I actually really liked when she's talking to Ava and she's like, hey, she wants to save her brother, and I get that, but if I help her save her brother, then all I'm going to want to do is try and save my sister. So, how are they going to address the fact that she's not thinking about that when she's just, we'll just...
I think she will be thinking about it, and they'll address it that way.
Okay, alright, okay, we'll see. But she's like, well, the rules are bendy, wishy-washy.
More likely, they'll run the simulations for Laurel and be like, okay, well, there's nothing here for that. Like, there's no loophole.
No loophole, yeah. Yeah, it's a done deal.
Yeah, whereas there's a loophole for this one.
Okay. But hey, so no, it was a good fun episode. Lots of funny moments, and I think everyone get a chance to shine. I think everyone made me laugh at least once or twice.
Yeah, definitely.
So and I actually, do you know what I liked about this episode more than anything else is that other than the comedy, it was pure 100% character development, and not just for. I mean, Zari get the most of it, obviously. She get the biggest thing. I was like, no, we're establishing you as part of the family. You're part. These are friends to you now. But everyone got development. Everyone, it's like, okay, we're accepting that Nate and Amaya can't, pretend they're not into each other anymore. So that advanced. Mick's got a bit more of a gentle side.
Mick got the least, I'd say.
He got the least, but he's still the big comic relief guy. So it makes sense that he gets something at this capacity. And then. Sarah. I mean, Sarah's conversation with Ava was really good. I thought that moved forward, like their connection on top of her captain stuff, and even when she finds out about the Constantine saying, if she gets possessed, kill her. She's like, no, he's right, kill me. Like, I even kind of like that. I thought everything progressed. I feel like everyone moved forward, and because this show sometimes avoids doing that because it's too busy doing wacky plot.
Because it's too busy being a cartoon.
Yeah. This was a nice combination of some wacky plot that actually had some meaning overall. So even though there's some nitpicks where. Okay, how does that make sense, or how does that whatever? It works for what it's exactly trying to do, and it's probably one of the better episodes of the season as a result.
Yeah, overall, I have very little to fault about it.
Yeah. Like I can think of logical nitpicks, but I don't care about them that much.
Yeah, exactly. When it's okay, I'm having fun, and what you're doing makes sense for these characters, so I'm just gonna go with it. Great episode.
So so we teased the Wally. We know that he's not in the next episode, because when they first announced it, you'll see a glimpse of him in episode 11, and then he'll be in episode 13 onwards.
Right, okay.
So, unless that's changed, but that was the thing. Because when he popped in at the end, I was like, okay, so that's the glimpse. Right, so we'll get him in 13 now, and we'll see what we're doing next week.
I am liking that it's with Rip, because obviously Rip's kind of been left to the side. They didn't really have anything to do with him, which is understandable, so they're like, okay, well, we don't have anything.
We know why he wants him, though, right? He wants to travel through time, and who can travel through time outside of the Time Bureau?
Oh, obviously.
Speedsters, so...
Obviously, but I like that it's, okay, we're going to bring Rip back in as well.
And to be fair, that's not something that, as far as we know, Wally's ever done before, so that'll be like a new thing for him.
I don't know it is. We know he's presumably fast enough to do it.
Yeah, but he's never went out of his way to try it.
Yeah.
So
because he's like, hey, Barry, you keep screwing this up. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
Yeah. So Rip's going to... That'll be nice. If he brings that up, see if we see him argue with Rip. No! Barry almost ruined everyone's lives. Let's not do that. He's like, Wally, it's fine. I'm a time master. It's what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, dear. Come to think of it, there really should have been a crossover episode of like Flash and Legends last year where they have to show up and like, hey Barry, there's some acronyms, dickhead.
Yeah, like, do you want to cut this shit out?
Yeah, you're helping us now because you've screwed all this crap up. Come on.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Anyway, so let's move on to our classic material, because that is the only news show we had this week, and we have an episode of Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman, which is season 1, episode 7. It's called Smart Kids, and as soon as I read the title, I remembered exactly what episode this was. This is an episode where a group of kids have taken this drug that makes them intelligent, super intelligent, smarter than the adults. And they're being experimented on by a scientist that works for Lex Luthor, of course, because everything tracks back to Lex Luthor. But they escape, they steal some of their own drug, and they actually they're smart enough that they hijack into the TV system and broadcast their own show. They make demands. They mess up the water supply. That's a classic comic book thing.
Cameras that know everywhere.
You get cameras everywhere. You get surveillance. Presumably they're just hacked into all the security cameras and street cameras and everything else.
Probably.
and then they're also taking money away from people and just printing out fun money at the ATMs. They're doing all these things, so they're super smart. And obviously, Lois and Clark are trying to figure out what's going on, and it leads to some humorous moments, shall we say. How did you feel about Smart Kids?
It's all right. I'm not a big fan of episodes with kids in general, of any sort of shows. Like, these sorts of things where you have all the adults interacting with the children. I'm never a big fan of those. I always find them kind of cringy.
No, I kind of like this one. I don't think it's a great episode. I think it's just silly enough that it's got this 90s... Cause I feel like you wouldn't get this episode now on anything. I don't feel like... The Flash may have an episode with kids in it, or Supergirl may have an episode with kids in it, but I don't feel like they'd pull exactly this.
No, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad episode. This is more my personal taste of... I just don't like these things whenever they happen.
Because I was cracking up when they first came on the TV and they're reviewing the cartoon and they're doing it as if it's like as if they're analysing a film and they're talking about various things. And Kat just looking confused at the words they were using was cracking me up.
No,
what was it? Postmodern angst or something like that was the phrase. And she's like, "What's postmodern angst? I don't get it. What's postmodern angst?" So that was cracking me up. And it was, had one of those kind of like the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It had one of those classic ironic cuts where Lois is like, because she gets the foster care of the one kid the police have captured. How she spun that, I don't know.
Yeah, so the kid comes back to save her sister.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because they're like, well, she's just going to run away anyway. She doesn't want to be here. All right, fine, Lois, you can have her.
I think the argument might be, it's like, well, our friends will know where to come and steal her from, so we'll hide her with someone where they won't know where to look.
Right, maybe.
This is me guessing. I don't know. But regardless, she says, she's like a 9-year-old. How hard can it be? And it cuts to her being tied up. And the kid's, like, incapacitated her. There is some nice messaging in here, though. Kind of like when Superman's convincing the one, the sort of the leader kid, and he's like, "Hey, no, make the choice to give up this drug. Like, growing up's part of what life is. You have to do this. It's supposed to be hard. You're supposed to develop." And he's like, "Yeah, but you wouldn't go back to being a kid." Well, no, because I've done that. I grew up. I made my choice. Well, not made my choice, but I went through the process. But you have to too. Otherwise, you're not developing properly. Exactly. That was a nice little message.
You get it two-pronged. You get it from Lois and the kid that she's with as well.
Yeah.
Kind of doing the exact same speech almost.
Yeah, it works quite well. I do think it's a little convenient how they kidnap Lex Luthor at one point and they don't notice because Lex has literally just murdered the scientist that was experimenting on them in his penthouse. And the kids come and kidnap him at the front door and it's not like it's in another room. Like, he's right over there by the fireplace. They just conveniently don't see him.
Yeah.
It's never addressed. It's kind of weird. And there's a whole subplot where the kids kind of figure out that Clark's Superman, and he has to try and
convince them that he's not.
Yeah, which involves eating pizza, drinking beer, and getting some ketchup on his finger to pretend he's been cut.
Yeah, smashing the glass on the floor.
Yeah. I actually did really like the scene that led up to that though, where he was just flying over Metropolis looking for him in the crowds and stuff. They didn't do any special effect to show it, but you just kind of get the impression that he's using his his supervision, like his microscopic vision to sort of zoom in and kind of because he's scanning the crowds like a baseball game, and then he's like scanning the crowds at something else with a lot of people. I think it was the pier with all the fairground stuff and all that. He's like scanning all that. So I like that. It was a very kind of Superman-esque kind of scene that I liked.
It was, yeah.
I dig that. Also, Perry being a dick to Jimmy and say because at the start of the episode, Jimmy's like, "Hey, those kids are still missing from that school." He's like, Jimmy, we've been talking about that for 3 days. Stop it. I think
it's not news anymore.
Yeah, and then when they come on TV. And they see them on the thing, and then Jimmy goes away. He's like, "This is the 3 kids that disappeared from the thing. What's that, Chief? Nose for news." He's like, "Good work, Jimmy." Like, I don't know, I like it. He doesn't take it the bad way. He just like, "You know what, Jimmy, you're right. Yeah, maybe you could be a reporter." Like, he's that kind of thing. So all those things are kind of there and they're kind of building up. But a lot of it is humor between Clark and Lois and the kids and. At one point, Clark steals shredded documents, and I thought it was because even Lois was looking at it and reading words, and I'm like, it's very convenient that they shredded them horizontally so you could still read the full words.
I feel like, because you should really shred them both ways for security if you're going to be like that.
Yeah, but I mean, shredding them vertically is much better than shredding them because horizontally you can still read a full line. Like horizontally, you could get.
You can, yeah, but you can still kind of place it back together without too much difficulty.
Sure, but how do you suggest that you take it out and then shred it the other way? Kind of hard to hold when it's all been shredded already.
It is. I feel like you get a shredder that does it both ways.
You probably can get them, but
I know you can.
I feel like most of them aren't though. I feel like most of them are just one way.
Probably, but I feel like you should get that one if you're going to be shredding, secret documents.
Using a shredder is very satisfying. I've not used one much in my life, but I remember using one and being like, "Oh, this is satisfying."
You think?
Oh yeah, there's something really. It's the act of destroying something. It's great.
You're such a juvenile.
Hey, I'm talking about when I was in school. When have I been around the shredder since then?
I don't know. You might have been.
Yeah.
I don't know what you shred. What you get up to.
All my secret documents that I've got on things.
Hey, you might have things. I don't know.
Yes, I've got location. I've got the whereabouts of your real parents. I mean, some person's real parents.
Great, very good.
You believed all these years that you and your brother just happen to be ginger, even though your parents aren't. Ha ha ha! I found them.
I don't even know where to go with that.
Oh, okay. I'm going to start lots of ginger conspiracy theories now, aren't I? Well, I say start. Add to the pile.
Yeah, like there's none already.
Add to the pile. So, anything else in this episode you want to talk about?
I thought the resolution was very easy, wasn't it? It's just like, oh, it wore off. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. But to be fair, that was set up early in the episode because they kept wanting to get more because it was going to wear off.
It was. It just ultimately meant that they didn't actually have to do anything. They just kind of waited it out.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, it's a simple little episode. There's not a whole lot of threat, mainly because they're not really villains in the strictest sense. It's not like Superman has there's real danger. They're not really trying to kill anyone or anything like that.
No, they just want their own island with palm trees.
Yeah, and everything they try, it feels kind of like, okay, it's annoying people, but it's not like threatening people in a great sense.
Yeah.
Like, so,
No one really takes them seriously, do they?
Not really. But I think it's a goofy. I mean, I like it more than the last one we had.
Fair enough.
The last one, which I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember, but I remember not thinking it was that great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a very standard episode. It wasn't bad. But...
Yeah, I liked it more than the last one, which I'm checking now because it's bugging me that I can't remember what the last one was. Oh yeah, that was the mob one. I got Crushing You, where Lois was singing in the club. Yeah, I like this one better. This was more fun. There was more, some goofy humor. There was more.
I think I preferred the last one just because the humor with the kids doesn't really land for me here.
Yeah, fair enough, but I don't know. I get more out of this one, so.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that'll take us on to Smallville, Season 1, Episode 7. It's called Craving, and of course, much like Lois and Clark, you take one look at that title, and you know what episode this is.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Fat Amy Adams episode of Smallville.
Yep. This is infamous.
She has the most ridiculous-looking fat suit and fat makeup on her face.
Oh, I'm so glad it doesn't last long.
Oh, God. Well, that's the thing, though. There's multiple versions because the thing that makes her lose weight happens, but she's still kind of fat, so there's still fake stuff in her face. It's gradual,
yeah.
Yeah. It's not until...
some points are better than others, to be fair.
It's not until much later. But the entire plot is just so stupid.
Obviously, it's Smallville.
But no, this is even stupid by Smallville standards. Cat, don't cover my mic. That's bad. You don't have to see Wesker on camera actually during the recording.
No, you don't.
He's you don't have the camera. Look at that. But yeah, so she's someone who's fat, doesn't want to be fat. She's upset about that, and of course she's making veggie shakes because she wants to eat them instead of real food to get skinny. But she grows her vegetables in kryptonite.
Yeah.
Kryptonite's everywhere. I mean, I know.
It's a great fertilizer, apparently.
Apparently so, but it also gives you cravings. Makes you skinny, then gives you insane cravings you can never fulfill.
See, that's the thing I don't get the logic of this, because usually the effects are pretty, logic. Okay, so you're in cold water, so you're cold, and you want to get warm because of it.
I don't know if I call that logical, but yeah, continue.
No, but there's a path to it that I can follow. This is, all right, we're going to make you skinny because you want to be skinny. I don't understand why it's like, okay, now you're just starving again.
This episode has scenes with her locked in her room or the bathroom, telling her dad to go away. She's upset because she's fat. There's a bully at school who just like actually gives Pete shit because he's hanging around with a fat person. Which, kids were cruel in school, don't get me wrong. But no one just walked up to someone who was talking to a fatter kid and went, "Oh, what are you hanging around with a chubby chaser? You a chubby chaser? Oh, you like the fat girls, do you?" Like, no one did that. That is a level of just absurd. Maybe like when you're in single digits, maybe.
Yeah. See, they'll take the piss out of the fat kids themselves.
Sure.
But not out of the people who are around them, usually.
Yeah, but it's usually, there's more tact usually than just, hey, you're fat. Like, there's more to it than that normally. Sometimes, sometimes there can be wit to cruel comments. There was no wit in this.
No, there's not.
There's not even one iota of wit. But yeah, there's scenes of her trapped, like, when she's got her cravings later on, and she's trapped in the bathroom, and she's just, like, surrounded by empty pizza boxes and food, and she's been just stuffing her face. And the scene that gets me... So obviously, Clark and Chloe are meant to be heroes in this show. They're meant to be our people. And obviously at the start they're upset that people are making fun of her weight, and they're quite rightly. Later on, after she's gotten skinny, and she's got her cravings, they sit down next to her at lunch, and she's got like tons of food on her tray, right? Tons of food, about half of what Connor eats on a daily basis. And she's sitting there and she's eating, and she's shoving it in her face. And I get looking at it at first being like, that's a shit ton of food. That's like more than anyone I've ever seen order. But the entire scene that lasts like 2 minutes, Clark is just staring at her like every time she takes a bite with these big judgmental eyes. And I'm
to
like,
be fair,
what are
I
you
think
doing,
it's
Clark?
the way she's just wolfing it down.
I know, but after a minute, you just let her do it. Like, I'm like, this is so judgmental. What's going on?
I get it. I feel like that is realistic to me in school. Of like, yeah, okay, that's weird. I'm gonna stare and be judgmental. That seemed more natural to me.
Not for that long. Eventually, you stop. It's weird. Because I feel like Clark especially, he's the sort of person who would realise he's doing it and be like, hey, actually, you know what? I'll try and not look. Even if he's occasionally giving little glances, he'll try and not to look. The entire time, he is just staring like, what are you doing, you fat bitch? That is the look he has on his face.
I don't know. I get it.
Even though she's not actually, I mean, she's skinny in that scene, but...
She is, but, that is a huge amount of food. And I think it's the way she's jumping between things as well. She'll take, like, a bite out of the pizza and then go into, like, the mousse cup for a spoonful, or then to something else. It's like, there's no consistency to the way she's eating. She's just all over the place. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and also she wants to suck out body fat, so she does it to a deer. There's this ridiculous CG effect of her mouth opening. I don't know, something from Blade 2 or something. I don't know.
It's supposed to replicate like a snake, right? Now, when a snake takes off, like dislocates its lower jaw when it opens its mouth to eat stuff.
I guess.
I think that's the effect they're going for. But it just
Sure.
looks stretched and
I'll
strange.
take your word for it. But yeah, so she kills like the bully at one point. And she sucks him dry. Body fat before anyone starts making sexual puns. And she's got a date because Lana's we'll get to Lana's party later, but she got Pete as a date to Lana's party, and she starts getting hungry as she's leaving the house with him, and she's like, Pete go. So she's never really
she's not evil, she's just
she's trying to not kill Pete, so she's never really an outright villain per se.
Even though, she does go after the bully. I don't know if she kills him, because I know he's in the hospital. I can't remember if he dies or not, because Clark interrupts.
No, I don't think he dies because he takes him to the hospital.
No, he takes him to the hospital. I didn't know if he died in the hospital.
Well, they never mention it. I assume they'd mention it if he died.
Yeah. Maybe.
I think, but the fact that they don't mention him again. Well, first of all, he's a small enough character that we don't care. But secondly, I feel like if they're going to make the dramatic point, oh, he died, so this is serious. Like they'd make that point.
No, that's fair.
So, Then again, I've been Smallville writers, so who knows?
It's why I'm questioning it. But I mean, so she's clearly not a good person at this point because she's going. I mean, yeah, he was a bully, and yeah, he did some justice, but yeah, it's a bit far. Well, oh, yeah, I'll eat him. But
oh my god, I hate this so much. I hate this episode. I hate every bit of it. And obviously this is the worst of it, but of course we still have Lana and Clark drama to deal with. Lana's having a birthday party. She doesn't even want. Her aunt is, throwing a party. Lex is letting Denny's mansion out for it.
Just because.
There's no one questioning why he's so friendly with a couple of teenagers. I feel like most people in real life would think that was a bit weird.
I agree.
Unless it's someone if it's like someone who's a friend with the parents, or there's a connection that sort of kind of like bonds them anyway, and in which case it's normal. But when it's just randomly, I've befriended these two teenagers. Now, admittedly,
see, I get why they kind of let it slide with Clark, because there was that whole saving the life thing, and then so then they started spending time. Like they were seeing each other around that. It's like, okay, I get it. They're friends now.
Yeah.
The Lana one's a bit creepier because it's just like, oh hey, Clark, you like this girl? I'll go see her.
Especially when he says cryptic thing, or it's not even cryptic, but when he turns around and says, "Oh, I heard the quarterback." That's what I was looking for. The quarterback's not coming. Oh, I'm so upset.
It also implies that he pulled some strings.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh no, your aunt told me about it. Sorry, I knew."
Yeah, it's like, sure. And then the really uncryptic part is he goes, "I like your new escort better anyway."
I wonder what that means. So here, that's it. So Clark and Lana, let's get to this bullshit. So Whitney has like tryouts. He's scholarship tryouts, right? So he's out of town for this party, and Lana doesn't even really seem to care because she's like, I don't really care about birthdays. I don't really like them. It's fine.
I can get behind that sentiment.
Do you really want to compare yourself to Lana Lang in Smallville?
No, just the sentiment of, I don't give a shit about birthdays.
You know what? Yeah, comic Lana Lang, you like her because you're ginger, and then all the personality qualities is like Lana Lang TV show.
That's really insulting.
What I'm saying is you're the worst. You're the goddamn worst.
Look, all I'm saying is there are points in my life where I've been like, you're having a birthday party, and I'm like, I don't want a birthday party. And my mother's birthday is the day after mine, and like her 40th lined up with like my 16th, and it was like, we're having a party, we're having a joint party. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
I
no one
want my
wants
friends here at the same time as your friends.
No one wants a joint party with their mother.
I'm like, what are you doing?
It's weird.
This is shit. And then, so I just like, no, I'm pissing off. I'm not being in the house with this.
Did your friends mingle with her friends? Did they get
on?
I
refused. I was just like, no, I'm going out. I'm not staying in the house for this.
Oh, that sounds like a good episode of a TV show. There's all the teenagers' friends having to mingle with all the mother's friends. That sounds good.
It's got to happen on Riverdale, right?
Oh, it has to happen. To be fair, though, we see all those kids like mingle with all the friends' parents anyway, so why not?
Exactly.
So what was it going? All right, so party, and so Clark awkwardly is like, "Hey, so you don't have backup? Hey, I'll back you up at your party, just as a friend. You understand?"
Yeah.
It's like, all right, fine, but Clark, and then all sweet eyes, don't let me down this time. And I'm like, look, Lana, if you think this is purely platonic, why are you saying don't let me down this time like you're deeply hurt about it? I don't get it. And that's not even the worst of it. It's not even the worst of it. There's a scene later on, right, where he comes out and she's on the bleachers, right, and he comes out and sits with her, right, and it's just them. So many romantic moments in high schools where apparently where the bleachers are empty, so just a couple can sit there and have their romantic talk. Which I'm not saying it's unrealistic. I'm just saying it happens so often in TV, especially this show that
it does. Yeah.
But anyway, so they're sitting and they're talking, and there's a moment where she says something like, "Oh, Whitney got me this present. It's a book. It's like my favourite book, my favourite author, and he tracked down like a first copy or first edition, whatever it was. It was something that meant something to her." And she's like, "Oh, sometimes I think he's like a million miles away, but then he does something like this, and he gets me, he really gets me." And she looks over, and then she realises she's probably just hurt Clark's feelings, and she gets kind of all awkward, and like as if she's sorry she said something, and he looks kind of all awkward, and then he changes the subject. And all I can think was, wait, your reaction to that is acknowledging that talking about your boyfriend hurts his feelings. Therefore, you know how he feels.
Yeah. And then you're just stringing him on.
There's no way to read that. Because, again, in this same episode, she's like, "You better come at the party, Clark. Don't let me down."
I know.
Oh, they're both written so horribly. It's insane. I don't get it. And which actually leads me to so there's two really awkward. Well, there's probably more, but the two that I remembered and stuck out to me. Awkward lines of foreshadowing dialogue. One was fair. One was a fair phrase that people actually use. At one point, Clark got up from a table and said, "I've got to fly." That's fine. People say that. That's a common saying.
You'll let that one slide.
That one's fine. After he's been studying with Lana, they've had a study date to help with whatever class, and she's like, "Oh, Clark, you've really helped me out." It's like, hey, it's not like I pulled you from a burning building. It's fine. No one says that. That is not a saying. That is not a phrase. That is a wink, wink. I'm going to be Superman line. Oh,
yeah.
Terrible.
I don't know. I don't know if I had any last week. I can't remember.
I can't remember. Do you think I remember the episodes a week later?
No, me either. I'm saying.
I remember it was the old dude that became young episode. I remember that, but like beyond that,
yeah, I don't know much either. There was way too much Lana, is what I remember.
Yes. There was a lot of Lana in this, and of course he keeps talking about what we're going to get Lana for her birthday. And here's the thing: she's saying all episode, "Don't let me down, Clark." You know he's going to let her down. It's so obvious, like plain face writing.
Writing 101, yeah.
Like, and he's already done it, and I'm like, oh, do we have to do this again? Or she's going to be upset. And Lex comes out, and he just sticks up for him, and he's like, "Oh, Lana, he'll be here. If he's not, it's because he's Clark. Something really important."
He says, "Yeah, he'll be here if he can."
Yeah, and to be fair, they didn't end it on a downer because he's like, "Hey, let me give you a present. I got your present," and she's like, "Okay, when?" And I thought it was a stupid question. Like, why would they say that as if it's going to be a week from now? Like, surely, like if he came over and said, "Hey, but I'm going to give you a present," and he didn't have it there and then, that would be just more grounds for more annoyance because you've got a present ready, you dick.
I think the reason she's saying when is because clearly he doesn't have it with him, unless it's like it's like small enough to be in his pocket.
It's a ring. Lana, we're platonic friends. We're just friends, but I'm going to get down on one knee, right? just friends.
Yeah. Don't read into this.
Here's a ring.
But no. So I guess the reason she says when is like, hey, I'm clearly in bed. I've ever met you. It's night. Like, when are we doing this? Because I've got to come out clearly to get this. Because you haven't got it with you.
And it ties back to a line she had earlier. He's asking about it must be a nice birthday you remember. And she's like, "Well, I remember going to this drive-in theatre when I was a kid and with my parents, and it's the last time I felt safe." And I'm like, "Oh, god damn it. You're worse than Batman with this shit. Batman doesn't talk about his dead parents this much. Jesus Christ. It's been like 12 years.
Sorry, are you telling the orphan to get over it?
In this case, I am. I'm just...
You hear that, orphans? That's Pete's advice for you.
You can have my parents if you want, I don't care. She just never shuts up about that. But it's like I'm joking, obviously, but like all she ever does is talk about, "Oh, I have this one great memory of my parents, and it's the one memory I have," and it's
there's so many. There's one memory, isn't it?
It's so melodramatic and bullshit. I hate it so much. But she mentions that there was Bugs Bunny cartoons before the movie, and she fell asleep before the movie. So he's got a little projector on the back of a truck, and they're displaying it to the side of the farmhouse, and she's like sitting there, and even her saying "pass the popcorn" was somehow atrocious acting. I don't know how you butcher the line "pass the popcorn."
Also followed up by a popcorn bucket, which is far too small for two people to share. It was not like a reasonable size popcorn.
Hey, to be fair, Clark's just dealt with the fat plot all episode, so he's just thinking consciously. He's thinking about weight.
It's popcorn has like nothing. It's air.
Well, it's air with a lot of sugar.
All right, fine, but it's It's 90% air.
He's making sure she's not going to be diabetic in a few years, right? He's thinking of her health.
Who gives a shit? It's Lana.
You're giving me shit for saying forget your dead parents, so you're like, you give a shit, I hope she dies.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying, look, if you're gonna do a theater experience, drive-in, do popcorn properly. do the full experience. Don't do this tiny little half-assed effort.
He went out and got, I mean, not just a popcorn cup, but he got like a proper cup with a lid. You know, like you'd get from like if not a theater, then like a fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
Like he's got like a paper cup with a lid and a straw. He's put effort into this, which I can appreciate, but like...
And that's why it annoys me that the popcorn is like a stupid size. It's like, you clearly gone to some lengths. You could have gone a bit further and done it properly.
Also, see when she mentions it was Bugs Bunny. No, there's no problem with it being Bugs Bunny, but my cynical side of my brain went, because that's owned by Warner Bros. So when we see it later on, it didn't have to cost anything.
No, I get that, but I let it slide because Bugs Bunny is so common.
Oh sure, yeah, no, I mean there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just like that's why it's Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, I will say, having the that's all folks be the last moment was actually quite nice.
Oh, that was okay. I was too busy being sick of the overly sweet bullshit writing and the shitty Enrique Iglesias song playing over it.
Yeah.
I can be your hero, baby. That's what was playing.
Oh, I remember.
As if the title music wasn't like wink wink enough with somebody save me. Then we've got this.
Yeah, I let it slide with the title theme because it's like, it's a title theme.
It's an okay song for an opening title sequence. I'm not grudging the song that much because it's fine.
Yeah.
If anything, I actually kind of miss having credits like this where we actually get the heads with the names. I kind of miss that.
Yeah, me too. It's a lost art, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is probably one of the newer shows that have it because I feel like by the time this finished, people weren't doing it anymore.
Oh, absolutely not. Because this is early 2000s when it starts. I feel like by mid 2000s it was kind of mostly gone.
Yeah, because I mean Lost didn't have it, and that started in 2004.
Yeah.
Veronica Mars started the same year and did have it, so clearly it was like hit and miss at that point.
Hit and miss, but it was mid 2000s is like, okay, we're kind of moving away from it. Now nothing has it.
Yeah, nothing has it. And the only things that have credits are cable shows and streaming shows, and they all have this kind of same style for some reason. Like somehow they all do. They all have this same style, where it's all objects from the show and places in the world.
I think it came from Game of Thrones. I didn't see anywhere do it before Game of Thrones.
No, I think HBO had already done a few things like that.
Oh, maybe.
I want to say like 6 Feet Under and stuff like that had.
Fair enough.
That style of thing, and that was obviously years before.
Yeah, I'll say Game of Thrones popularized it then.
Oh, maybe. Even Game of Thrones, though, I don't think of as I think of that as being at least a little bit different because it's like the map. It's got like a theme to it.
It does, yeah.
Whereas I feel like a lot of the other ones are just like Star Trek Discovery goes for it, and it's just like here's a phaser spinning around as we have a title. Oh, here's one of the little communicators spinning around as you have a title. It's the same thing.
It's a bit more abstract, I suppose, than Game of Thrones.
And most of them are pretty abstract.
They are, yeah. They're just shapes or colours.
Yeah, which is fine if you've got a good track. The track kind of breaks it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The Star Trek Discovery one kind of grew on me over the season.
Yeah, no, it was okay. I still think it misrepresents the show.
That's fair, but as just as an opening piece, I was at first I was like, but by the end I'm quite feeling it.
Because it's quite upbeat and hopeful sounding, and then you get to the shows like Dark War Klingons, dark.
Pretty much. That was a bit over the top even for that show, but
Oh dear. What we not talked about? I actually Lex is like basically discovered the wall of weird. Is like, hey, this is kind of weird. Why is there so many stuff happening in Smallville? And he goes and gets Joe Morton from Terminator 2 to do science.
Yeah, do science.
Do science. He's analysing rocks and stuff. He's doing all that nonsense. Joe Morton, of course, was in Terminator 2. He was Dyson. He was also in Speed. He was like the head of the police. He had a mustache and that. He's very quick talker though. If you go back and watch Speed, when he's like barking out orders to his squad, he's just firing through
he's
dialogue.
fitting the theme of the movie.
he's speaking with speed.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was the direction. Everything was just do it fast.
Do you know, unironically love the shit out of Speed. I grew up with that movie. I love it so much. But the one line of dialogue that bothers me in that movie is when Keanu Reeves looks under the bus. He sees the big bomb, and he comes up and he says it over the walkie-talkie to, I think it's Jeff Daniels. He's like, "Harry, there's a bomb." And he's like, "Is it big?" "It's big enough to blow a hole in the world." I hate that line of dialogue. It's so bad. It's so goddamn bad.
Yeah, that's pretty awful.
And it's not like the movie has doesn't have a good dialogue. It does. Pop quiz, hot shot, shoot the hostage. Great little quips and dialogues and stuff. Anyway, so Lexus investigates stuff, and that's about it.
Yeah. I laughed at the moment where he comes into he sees the Wall of Weird and Chloe and Clark are there, and as he's leaving, that's when he turns to Clark's like, "Oh, I hear you're taking Lana tonight," and Clark's like, "Yeah, as a friend." Lex goes, "Sure you are." Just absolutely no subtlety.
Yeah. This show has zero subtlety. There's not even a smidge of... Even Martha, when Lana comes over for like a minute to like drop something off, she just sort of stands there listening to all the cheesy dialogue and be like, "Oh, this is just this cheesy Clark we did."
Yeah, and Clark comes in, it's like, yeah, hit some granite, got it through. and the parents there go, people are here.
Yeah, he turns around and Larry's just staring at him like, "What?" And he's like, "I had a sledgehammer."
Slash bloody hope so.
Yeah, why would you specify that? That's more suspicious now.
Yeah.
If she'd said, "What do you mean?" If she'd questioned it and you go, "Well, yeah, I mean, you had a sledgehammer," I'd say, "Oh, okay." But the fact that you went out of your way to say you had a sledgehammer makes it the most suspicious shit ever.
It does. It really does.
Oh my god, I'm so glad. I think we'll get shows back next week. We don't have to watch Smallville.
I think everything's back next week, isn't it?
Is it? We'll double check after. Because the last time we double checked before we recorded, we said that only Flash or only Arrow was taking 2 weeks off, and it turned out to be Flash 2. And we look like right idiots. But we actually checked. We checked like a day or two before we recorded, and our source was incorrect. So I just don't trust it. I'll be vague, and then we can cover it when things happen. Are you looking at? You checking it up? You looking? You double checking? You seeing? You're paused. He's frozen, people. I'm just talking to myself now. There's going to be a cut here in a second where we cut to when he's back, and he's back. Look at that. That's so magic.
I took the magical moment to check, and yes, they're all back this week.
They're all back this week. Great. We got a full slate next week of new shows, new episodes.
Which means we don't have to watch through Smallville for at least a week.
I looked into the stars at night. I sang out with a song in my heart.
This is starting to sound like some Smallville dialogue. Be careful where you go with this.
Somebody save me. And they did. They did. With that, let's move on to the final thing we're talking about this week, which is Young Justice Season 1, Episode 16. It's called Failsafe. So, of course, we're going to talk about this. This episode is basically aliens are showing up. I actually thought it was like a Brainiac ship at first, but it was just, generic alien things.
Yeah.
And basically the entire Justice League gets killed by them.
Instantly. You get the 2 lanterns immediately eviscerated.
And I immediately went, "Alright, so this isn't real. What's going on?"
Yeah, exactly. It's either, okay, this isn't real, or we're going to do a time travel.
Yep. And then they tried to circumvent that a little bit by actually saying, "Oh no, they didn't actually die, they get teleported somewhere. We can actually get them back." I thought, okay, they'll try to tell me that it could be real then. And then, but then, like minutes later, it's like, no, they're actually dead. I'm like, no, it's not. Look, we're going to find out. This is all a simulation. I'm calling it now.
I could have done with, obviously they tell us, oh, it was Zeta beam energy, so they're not dead. They're teleported. I could have done with that information a little bit earlier, so we've gone longer thinking that it could be real. Because with that, it's plausible that it could be real.
Yeah. To a point, yeah.
Unlikely, but plausible.
I think it just has that feeling the whole episode, though, that this is just going to have a twist at the end where it's not real. It just feels like that the entire time. I actually like the episode for the most part, but that's my one big criticism, is that it has this feeling the entire time of this isn't really happening. So
it does, and it's something that I don't really know if it could have avoided because of just what it's doing.
I mean, you find out at the end, right, that they all knew it was a simulation when they started, but once Artemis was like, seemed to be killed, like, because so basically the big thing that you find out at the end is that Miss Martian telepathy is so strong that for a second she forgot it was real, or it was a simulation, right? And she believed it was real, and her psychic power made everyone else forget that it was a simulation, and they all started to think it was real and started to obviously there's some sweet moments like Wally being really upset that Artemis is dead and wanting revenge is like, yeah, okay, you totally get the hots for Artemis.
Yeah, he's the one getting so desperate to be like, no, they're not gone, it's Zeta beams, it's fine, we can get her back.
And they go on like a bit, essentially a suicide mission. Martian Manhunter's there. He eventually kind of like shows up as well, and they'll help. But when he wakes up, and he wakes her up by like he realizes why he's there, because even he forgets. Martian Manhunter forgets that it's a simulation, and he basically kills Miss Martian in the simulation to wake her up. It's kind of a conception, death wakes you up kind of thing. And he's like, yeah, she's more powerful than I am, and her power made everyone think that was real, and because no one else was waking up. Like they were supposed to wake up. That
was it. Like it should have been, death wakes you up like Inception, they say, but they're still in comas.
So the whole episode is very effective in that it's telling us that Miss Martian is very goddamn powerful, and I'm sure this is going to be a factor later on, and it's selling her as a big deal. That's good. I like that part of it, and I like I like Wally being concerned for Artemis. I like the various characters being upset when others die. I like Robin, like taking sort of lead and like basically admitting that this is going to be like a bomb run, and like it even looks like Red Robin at one point when he straps on the belts.
It does. It's nice. So I like this as well. It's like, yeah, look, Aqualad just sacrificed himself, but maybe he shouldn't have done because now we don't have a leader. So I guess I'm gonna just do what I can.
So there's actually a lot of positive points. I would say overall it's a pretty good episode, but there's just that weird thing through it where it's like, this isn't real, and you're telling me it is. I think maybe it would have worked better if we just knew at the start that this was not meant to be real, and then the characters all start to forget, and we go, wait, what's happening? Why are they forgetting?
Yeah, no, that could work.
Maybe
why are they getting so into it?
I feel like maybe tackling it as if it's going to be a twist that this is all not real was just a mistake, given that the story just made it very clear right at the start, this can't be real. There's no way they're killing all the Justice League, including Batman. You don't kill Batman unless the point of the story is that it's the death of Batman. And
I'm like, okay, maybe you can kill some lanterns, but
if Batman's dying, that is the entire central focus of the entire story, and everyone's going to be reacting to it.
Yeah, definitely.
And this wasn't that at all. So it was very clear. But like I say, everything it actually does for the characters is actually really good. So
It was. And some really nice action as well. I really like seeing obviously they have all their stealth suits, where they go, everything goes black. Yeah, when they go up to the Arctic, and it all goes white.
I know they actually cancelled this because it wasn't selling enough toys, but I actually laughed when the white suits all came out, because it looked cool that they all had white suits. Although I question, I mean, I guess it's for stealth reasons, but because the rest of them all have like, because it's not the same suits, because Artemis has like a sort of like a fluffy hood, so because it's cold, so she's got stuff to keep her warm. They all have like, kind of stuff like that, but Superboy's just in a white version of his suit, and I thought, well, if the point of the other suits is for keep them warm, and he doesn't need that, then why is he not just wearing his regular suit?
Camouflage.
Okay, sure, but
black is going to stick out on all that white.
His head's going to stick out.
Probably not to some degree.
At least the others, like Artemis has got the hood up, and Miss Martian can
Robin's got a hood on, I think.
Yeah, Miss Martian can turn all of her skin white if she wants to.
Yeah. So. Like, don't be wrong, it's his hair sticks out a little, but it's smaller than the whole t-shirt.
Sure. I just like the idea that he went and made a white shirt that still has the S on it.
Yeah.
But it's also white. You just have like a little bit of an outline, just to make sure you can see the S.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought again, the cynic is like, okay, this was just to sell some toys. Maybe.
Yeah, this is another set of toys. This is another set of 6 figures they can sell in their white outfits to go along with the stealth outfits, to go along with the regular outfits.
Yeah, but I did like the designs, so I'm not complaining too much.
I think Superboy looked a little bit stupid, I have to admit, but the rest of them I thought looked quite good. I liked Artemis with the hood up with the stuff, and I liked who else looked good?
I like Robin's a lot.
Yeah, a couple of them look good. The ones that felt like, no, they have to keep warm, so this is like the Arctic version. The ones that I felt like they didn't need to keep warm and it was just to have a white suit were the ones I was like, whatever.
Yeah, no, I get you.
But hey, so that'd be my main gripe is that, but is the knowing from the start it's obviously all going to be simulated or it's all going to be reversed in some way.
It lacks a little bit of the stakes, doesn't it? That it wants you to make you feel like there's stakes, but there's not, because we're like, well, this isn't real, it's getting undone. So maybe a different approach would have worked better.
And I did think it was effective when they all woke up and Miss Marston starts crying because she blames herself for putting them all through it. And everyone's like, hey, we're not blaming you, it's not her fault. Like, even Batman says it.
It's like, yeah, it was a subconscious thing. There was no decision for her to actively do that.
Yeah. So, but no, it was good. In terms of building her, in terms of building, again, the relationships keep moving forward, and I did a great job this time of doing it again.
Yeah. And I did like just the concept of, okay, it's a no-win scenario. Whatever happens, it's going to get worse, and you just got to see how you cope, see how long you can go.
Yeah, that's the point of it. Yeah, they have to sort of, no matter what, they were going to fail. But unless you're Kirk and you get around
cheat.
it, you can cheat.
Yeah,
I don't accept a no-win scenario. I find a way.
Yeah, exactly. But I just like them stepping up. You know, when the Justice League are all dead, and Aqualad's like, no, all right, we're stepping up. And you know, when they go to the Arctic, and they're like, okay, let's go back to the cave, and they're like, nah, Hall of Justice. They need to know they're still heroes. It's like, no, even though it's not real, it still works for them as characters, as heroes.
Yeah, no, that's true. But it's a pretty good episode. Probably not topping last week's. Last week's probably my favourite of the show so far. This one was up there in the higher ranks, but not.
It was a very exciting episode. In terms of just it's mostly action. It looks good. It's fun to watch, but it's maybe not as strong as some of the others.
Yep, there you go. So that is the last. And normally we pick our favourite episode of the week, but that's only out of the new episodes, and we only had one. So congratulations by default to Legends of Tomorrow. See,
do you know what? That feels really harsh, but I feel like it would have stood a really good chance this week anyway.
It would have. Like, this was a great episode. Like, this could have beat everything else, potentially, depending on what they had this week. Because, I mean, for all we know, Supergirl may have given us...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, if that was on,
against
but whatever.
The average of all the other shows, I feel this would have won.
Possibly.
But if they'd had particularly strong weeks as well, then, who knows?
But in reality, it's getting it by default, because nothing else was on. So, there you go. That is this week's Television from the Multiverse. Back next week with all new episodes of everything. And and obviously Krypton's starting next month. Much like Black Lightning, we'll put a review up of the pilot on its own.
Yes.
On the YouTubes. But of course that review will be also edited into the full episode. And then from episode 2 onwards, it'll just be part of this podcast. So that's the plan. Let us know what you thought of this week's episode of Legends. I mean, let us know what you thought of it. If you remember those episodes of Smallville and Lois and Clark, just a spell means talk to us about them too. But talk to what did you think of Legends of Tomorrow this week? Let us know. But like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Get us on the Twitters at DC Comics Podcast or at MailedFuzz TV, or no, Mailed_Fuzz TV.
I was gonna say, where are you going with this?
Yeah, Mailed_Fuzz, right?
It is Mailed_Fuzz, yeah. But you threw me. I was like,
I'm confused.
Did you get a different Twitter?
No, it's because I never say it twice. I think I just threw myself by saying the DC one first.
Yeah.
That's bizarre. Yeah, so the MailedFuzz one's for channel updates and stuff, and then the DC one, it does update for this show and the comics podcast, but it's also just generally retweeting DC stuff and talking about superheroes and nonsense. But that is the Twitters. You can support the show and the channel by heading over to patreon.com/MailedFuzzTV, and you can do that. There's a link in the description, as always. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching DC superheroes and capes and various other silly superpowers, but not freezing lasers. Never freezing lasers. And always remember that sometimes we screw things up for the better.